Thank you. Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are listening to me, and thank you for the organization to invite me to be in this important event. So my topic of today is to present you a model of how we structure our internal life when we were raised and when we grew up in this very chronic traumatization. This is talking about how we organize our defense mechanism. So I want to share with you a PowerPoint that I hope you will have for you. You have my literature mostly in Spanish, but you have this, my book, Beyond the Self, Healing Emotional Trauma and Brain Spotting, that is in English. And the model of today, I wrote it in this book, Our Internal Citadel. Till now is in Spanish, but is in plan to be translated into English. So just to present you that the first source for soothing our internal emotional life is social connection. That's our mammalian nervous system is looking for connection, is wired for connection to try to self-soothe, to soothe our internal discomfort. But when attachment trauma, and this is common in all clients, patients that are then later engaged in addictions, that the relationship with the caregiver fail, was kind of a betrayal or neglect or threat or humiliations. So when this looking for the social connection fails, we withdraw from looking for the connection towards protection disconnection. And this disconnection is social. We then later go with a kind of fear, kind of phobia to the relationship with others, but also implies this internal disconnection from a part of us that is wounded. So we hide, we hide inside our vulnerability, and in extreme traumatization, we also hide from ourselves. So we withdraw to protection, disconnection, and survival. This is trying to wire a mechanism of handling with our internal emotions in a self-sufficient, in a way of being self-sufficient. This is a defense mechanism. So in this way, all defense mechanisms become, to some extent, phobic, avoidant to the relationship with the others. These phobias have inside the anticipation of some kind of rejection, disapproval, dismissing from the other, or in more extreme phobias, more extreme defense mechanism, completely avoid turning to the other as a source of comfort. So these more extreme defenses will try to manage our internal emotional life in a not looking for disconnection, but trying to self-soothe our emotional pain with substances, addictions, or denial, or disconnection, dissociation, different kinds of dissociation. So for us as helpers, this model is also a model for how the therapist or the helper should engage in a therapeutic relationship with this defense system. So the first task of the caregiver helper is to detect what is shown in the relational dynamic, to enter and to offer a different relationship with these defense mechanisms, showing interest in the functions of the mechanisms of the defenses, But also, this is a way to explore the functions, taking into account that everything we organize in our internal system is with the goal of helping us to survive. So everything has a positive function, even the more extreme defenses. Another line of exploration, inquire, is to explore the fears of what may happen if we stop doing what they are doing for us. So many patients, when we invite them to connect with the pain, they will say that they have the fear to be shocked by the pain, to be depressed forever, to cry forever, to be crazy because they will experience an unbearable pain, these kind of things, that all of them, these extreme fears, are at the same time saying that the person is fearing to experience the feelings in loneliness. As we know that the chronic traumatization has a wound on the emotional regulation system. This, our mammalian nervous system is wired for, at the beginning of our lives, be co-regulated with the caretaker. But when this caretaker fails, we organize in try to be self-sufficient, self-regulate ourselves in not counting completely with the other. So this therapeutic relationship has the aim to help them to enter in a new relationship of interest, respect, kindness, and security. In other words, the defense system that includes kind of some degree of a phobia from relationships, fly away from relationships, should be offered a new kind of relationship with respect and loving kindness and interest. That's a paradox because these defense mechanisms were wired to avoid in some way, some degree, the relationship. So the helper now is offering a relationship that should promote a predicting error. As the nervous system is always predicting what is going to happen in their relationship. So the therapeutic relationship should provide this predictive, unpredictive error. Another goal, another aim of this therapeutic relationship is to help these defenses to be aware of the context, the old context in which they were useful and they were created. This also includes a principle that everything we did in our history to survive was an act of intelligence. But in trauma, this act of intelligence that was once intelligent is now out of the original context, creating problems. So another goal is to help these defenses to be aware of presentification. This is the term from Pierre Janet. Presentification is the capacity to be aware of that we are now in a new safe present, looking or able to look and to embrace the pain coming from our past. So this goal is to help these defenses be aware they are recalling something from the past in a new present context. Another way to say the same thing is to have a foot on the present while a foot on the past. Another goal is to help them to see how they are now part of the problem of the person in the current life by keeping their memories alive in the present and continuing to anticipate the future. For example, distrust from others is a defense, very, very extreme defense mechanism in most of addictive clients. They do not count with the others as a source of reestablishing the well-being, but they are predicting that the other is going to fail once and again, once and again, once and again. They do not perceive the real relationship with the caretaker or the therapist now. They are perceiving this relationship with the same eyes they perceive the original caretakers that betrayed them or were neglectful with them. So in some way, they are not anymore protecting, as they are predicting their current relationships with the eyes of the old relationship. This is transference in therapy. But they are again going back with this towards the same neural networks. This is re-traumatization. By the other side, we need to help them to be aware that instead of protecting now, they are condemning the wound they are trying to protect. For example, distrust is trying to protect to be betrayed again. So anyone can reach our vulnerable self. So this defense is now acting as a jailer that condemns our vulnerability to be eternally alone. Nobody can reach our wounds, our internal wounds. So this wound can be healed. So my model, I organize this topography in this draw. If you see this draw is, there is an instance of that is embracing, hugging all the system. I call this loving observer self or the essential self. This is the mindfulness. You know, every trauma therapy now is based on mindfulness. This dimension of ourselves that is able to observe with love, compassion. This first layer of defense is less phobic, and I put in the left side these introjects. I call also the exteropsychic defenses, as they have the material taken from our caretakers. And these introjects, I place the self-criticism and guilt. They act as ambassadors of the original caretakers, and the representation in our internal world is the attitudes, emotional life, expectations. The price, or this first layer of defenses are still struggling to be in the relationship at the cost or at the price of devaluing or hiding a part of us. In the right side, I put the social mask or the social self. These defenses are trying to make muscles to be perfect or to try to please others or to try to be strong. They gather some information from the original system of how to be accepted as the others, with the price of hiding a part of us. In the middle, I place more extreme defenses, much more phobic or extremely phobic from relationships. I call them the archaeopsychic defenses, or I could call also the reptilian defenses. In the left side, I place these anti-vulnerability defenses. In the psychoanalysis, they could be called anti-libidinal self. And I put here the addiction, the self-hate, or denial, self-harm, or suicidal, as accepting suicidal as the last defense when the person do not have any hope that the pain, the suffering can be soothed by anyone. So these defenses try to get rid of our vulnerability. and they try to soothe the emotional life with these extreme mechanisms. The right side, I put the interpersonal defenses such as distrust or this defense. It is what it is. They try to convince the system, the vulnerability, that there is nothing for us. There's no love for us. I put this very strong wall here because this distrust do not allow that even if we have today kind of a love in our relationship or therapeutic love, they don't trust on it. They do not allow that this resource of our current life can come in and reach our wounds. So they are acting now as jailers, that they do not allow anything new and good could come in, but also that to be reached our vulnerability. The last layer is where we store and we hide our vulnerability, the parts of ourselves that we can call disowned parts or exiled parts. And these are the parts of us that are traumatized, living in terror, disease, abandonment, depression. You have here these emotional parts or disowned parts living in a frozen time, hungry for contact, connection, affection, and care. But the defenses that are living in the upper layer do not allow anyone can reach them. So the goal of any good therapy is to reach this wounded part, to provide healing, and that these parts could unburden the information, the history of the pain. So this model, it can be used for self-analysis, to self-knowledge for oneself. What parts of us we are showing in our relationships, which parts of us are hidden. And for the therapist is also that what parts of the patient are in the relationship, what parts of the client, the patient, are not in the relationship, but that should be called to the relationship, therapeutic relationship, to be healed, to receive healing. This model can be used as a supervision also for the helper or the supervisor. Again, what parts of myself as a helper I normally offer to the other, what parts of myself I normally hide from myself and hide from the relationships. But also can be used as a treatment plan. The same thing, what parts of my patient are not showed, are not in the relationship. For example, a very rational client. This do not mean that this relational client do not have an emotional life. It only means that this emotional life is out of the relationship because has a bad history with relationships. This is a very summarized way to present this model. Thank you very much.